All right, Shalom. This is Brother Mayam coming at you from GMS Tampa Bay. First and foremost, I want to give all the praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and sincerity. So I just watched this video a little bit ago, and through the Spirit, I'm gonna do a lesson of my own a little bit and go into a few things about, this long suffering that we have to endure. All right, because, this life that we live, all right, this life that we're living in, all right, this is all a part of that enduring, all right, because the things in this world that we see, the things that we experience outside of the truth, all right, it's burdensome. All right, it brings nothing but burden to us. And let me get this quick precept because we have to continue to endure to the end. All right, this is Matthew 24, verse 13. It says, and as you read above, when we read above, we read Yahweh Shai speaks to his disciples, all right, his men privately. He speaks to them about the things that were going to be coming. All right. So the things that were going to be happening in the earth in the last days, the days leading up to the return of Yahweh Shai. All right. And when you read them, all right, they're very grievous things. And as you can see here in verse 8, it says, Matthew 24:8, all these things are the beginning of sorrows. All right. You see, so all these things are just the beginning of what's getting ready to come. All right. And here goes. Let me just read on down to verse 13. Verse 9, it says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. You see, and this is a part, that is another part of our long suffering. We have to endure being persecuted in this world. We have to endure our family members backbiting the direction that we're going in life now that we've come into this truth. Because before we came into this world, or Salakia, before we came into this truth, we were a part of the world. We were eating shrimp just like these niggas in this world, man. All right. We were eating lobsters. We were smoking weed. We were doing everything that everybody else were doing. All right. But what happened? The Lord took us out of this. All right. I believe Yahweh Shai prayed for them. I think that's in John. Let me come back. And this is actually, I had a few scriptures put down, but, the Spirit is going to go wherever the Spirit wants to. I think it was John 7. Let me see if I can find it. All right, Con. Yeah, it's around here somewhere. Maybe it was 14. I believe maybe it was 14. Let me let me go to John 14. Where is it? Actually, let me type in this. Salakia, bear with me. Okay, kind of Salakia. John 15 and 17. Or was it? Yeah, 17 and 15. All right, so this was Yahweh Shai, because this is what he did. All right, this is what Yahweh Shai did with us, and this is why we changed. This is John 17. And I'll start at verse 13. It says, and now come I to thee, and these things I speak in the world, that they might have my joy fulfilled in themselves. All right. And you see, when we are in this truth, we have to be joyful of the things that we're going through. And I got to I'll get into that here in a second, but let me finish this first. It says that they might have my joy fulfilled in themselves. I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them. You see, going back to that Matthew 24, and I believe that was like 9, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. You see, so going back to the beginning, the men of the Lord were never of this world, man. That's why, like like that song, Fear. All right, it's called Fear by Kendrick Lamar. You got a part, he put a snippet in there of that dude from IOIC telling him, that's why you feel like you're basically like you going through it, because you the children of the Most High. But really, the people who really going through it is the men of the Lord, those that were given unto the Lord, man. All right. This is verse 15. It says, I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil. You see, and the Lord, we're still here on the earth, man. The Lord didn't just take us out of here like he did Yahushua. What did he do? He kept us from the evil. Okay, he kept us from the evil, which the evils when and you look back in your life, for those of you brothers that are been in this truth for however long, you look back at your life and you see certain situations that happen that now looking back at it and you look, examining the situation with a spiritual eye, you see that the Lord was keeping you from a certain evil. I know me and the brother Ash, we were actual blood brothers, and we grew up together. We were always close, and we always did a lot of dumb shit together. We were always out, being niggas, man. And there are certain times, man, in our walk in this world that things happened and changed things abruptly, man, for to keep us away from evils, man. I know me personally, a quick testimony on that. The Lord protected me from evil. I had graduated college, and I had, Jake was into that university shit. So I had actually got a scholarship to go to college, and man, I didn't start nothing but my first semester. I didn't even get to start the second semester, man. I ended up getting arrested and doing some time, man. But now that I look back at it, it was the Lord that, because, all that ended up leading me to coming into this truth, because eventually when I did get out, not long after that, I came into this truth, man. So the Lord will lead us through certain situations. It'll be burdensome, because, hey, I'll tell you what, man, that being locked up shit ain't nothing cool, man. You get all these jakes that boast about, they've been locked up. I've done 3 years, I've done 10 years, and they boast about it like it's something that's cool. No, man, that shit's a burden, man. But what the Lord, and again, I say that, I say this humbly and as a testimony that, that burden that I had to go through, but what, it was the Lord keeping me from that evil, man, keeping me from the evil. Cause I look back, and the recklessness that I was doing prior to me getting arrested, hey, things could have been a whole lot worse for me, man. I could have probably been dead, or possibly doing even more time than what I did, man. Gone for God knows how long, man. But let me go back to this Matthew 24. It says, and the point of me going into that John 17 was to show you, all right, of why people are they're hating us, man. Okay, because the Lord is keeping us from those evils, for those of the elect, and I pray that I'm a part of the elect, man. So it says then back in Matthew 29 or 24:9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And that goes for your family as well. There's another precept. I'm not going to get it because I don't want to dwell too much on this topic. But another precept, that they of your own household shall be your enemies, man. Roughly paraphrasing it. So it starts at your household, man. Your woman, your kids, if they're old enough or they got the demon on them. But those are the first people that are going to hate you, man. for this truth. Why? Because the Lord is steering you in a direction to keep you from evil, man. And the ultimate evil is the destruction that's coming. But when the Lord starts to bring all this stuff, he brings us into this light, and he starts to steer us in the path that we're supposed to go. He brings all these burdens upon us. And that's why Yahushua said this. This is Ecclesiastes 1:18. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. You see? So the more you grow in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, expect worse and worse things to come your way, because it's the Lord is putting you on that path of righteousness. But on that path of righteousness, what it's like, I forget where in the book of Sirach, I think it's Sirach, where it talks about that there's deep waters on one side and fire on the other side, man. And that's the path that we walk in this truth. And knowing that you have to expect to suffer. Okay. But what? The Lord is looking for those men. The Lord is Salakia. The men of the Lord are going to be those that are going to be sighing and crying, man. Because we understand the burdens, and we want out of here, man. We want out of this wickedness, man. I was going to pull up examples, but I don't want the video to get flagged. You got examples of homosexuals. You got examples of little kids dressing up as trannies. You got all this adultery, women coming out and going out and dressed like prostitutes. Okay. That's all burdensome. Why? Because we understand that this is not how things should be. All right. But we have to continue to the end. Even though all these things are happening, that's why the scripture says, woe to him that had lost patience. Because what are you going to do, man? In this truth, you see all this. Now you come into this truth and you start to notice all the things that are truly burdens, and they're, the things are grievous onto you now. What are you going to do? You're going to just one day just flip out and just start killing homosexuals, man? You're going to flip out and just start smacking up women that you see wearing shorts or wearing pants or whatever? All right? You got to continue to endure these things, man. It says, verse 10, let me just read on down to verse 13. Well, let me just get to the point. Verse 13, it says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. You see, so we have to endure this suffering. All right. And again, going back to that Ecclesiastes 1:18, the more you learn and the more you become knowledgeable in this truth, as your spirit grows, those burdens are going to become heavier and heavier, man. But not to the point to where you can't handle it, because the Lord will never put on us too much that we cannot bear. Let me look that up real quick. Dang it, it just escaped my mind how it goes. Let me see what this comes up. All right, 1 Corinthians 10:13. Let me pull that up, because you see, this is what entails this truth, man. This truth. It says, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. It says, there hath no temptation taken you. And real quick, let me get this word temptation. Let's pull up the blue letter and let's pull this up, because we got it. Jake has to understand the words that you're reading, man. So let's get this temptations. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. This app been bugging out lately. All right, let's get this word temptation here. It says parasmos, or however you pronounce that. It says an experiment, attempt, trial, proving. All right, it says trial, proving the trial made of you by my bodily condition, the trial of man's fidelity, integrity, virtue, constancy. You see? An enticement to sin, temptation, whether arising from the desires or from the outward circumstances. All right. So look, and when you go down here to point 4, it says adversity, affliction, trouble. You see? So this temptation is talking about the troubles, man. That and those troubles is what makes us suffer. But what? Let's read. There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted, all right, that affliction, all right, afflicted above that you are able. But, all right, you see? So the Lord, even though you're going to be going through things in this truth, man. But guess what? The Lord is not going to put too much burden on you, too much suffering to the point to where you just want to kill yourself, man, or you want to give up. All right. And, you get guys that end up losing patience and they leave. They stop doing the will of the Lord. Those men were never part of this to begin with. All right, because the scripture says if they were of us, they would have surely have continued with us. All right, so that's not talking about them. The men of the Lord, those are going to be the men that are going to be suffering, going to be going through these trials and these burdens that are a part of this walk, mind you. But what? They're going to continue to endure. The Spirit of the Lord is not going to, for lack of a better term, forsake them, man. It's gonna keep them pushing. Okay. It says, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. You see, and that's where Jake forgets about his patience, man. When Jake starts to go through things, man, Jake just wants to make a move, man, to try to change the situation, to try to get up out of that suffering, man. But hey, something that the elders have been saying, all right, the things that we go through sometimes is for our betterment. All right. Ultimately, everything that we endure is all a test. This is all a test that we go. But there's things that we go through that we have to suffer. All right. That is for a certain purpose, man. And Jake, at times, because we're in this flesh, I've succumbed to that, where I've gone through something. I go through something and I'm quick to make a hasty decision to try to get up out of it, and it don't work out for you. All right, because why? You losing patience. You losing that. You forget to have patience with the will of the Lord, because His ways are higher than our ways. Okay. And see, that's that part that we always have to remember. All right, let's read that again. But will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. So you see, we have to be patient when we go through our sufferings. All right. First and foremost, pray to the Lord, man. Matter of fact, let's get that. Let's go back to this app. All right, let's get that, because that's the number one thing you should do when you're going through things, man. What is that? Psalms 55 and I believe 22. Here you go. Psalms 55 and verse 22. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Boom. There you go. There you go, man. He will never suffer the righteous to be moved, man. Going back to that 1 Corinthians in chapter 10 we just read, man. With the same temptation, he's going to make us a way for we can bear it. But what? You have to cast that burden upon the Lord. Cry out unto the Lord, man. And you see, that's how you know the men of the Lord from a false prophet, man. Because the man of the Lord is not going to just fold up like origami and just shut down, man. A man of the Lord is going to stand stable in the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Why? Because they're constantly praying to the Lord, because we're always suffering, man. Every day we suffer, man. Waking up, having to go to work, that's suffering, man. That's a burden, man. But what? It's a part of this walk, man. We went off, so we have to endure this, because what it's doing is serving a greater purpose. Okay. It's serving a greater purpose. But the men of the Lord are going to be the ones that are going to be sighing and crying. Matter of fact, let's get that. Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. Yep. All right. So Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4, it says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark, okay? Which when you go into that word mark, is tawad, which means a mark of exemption. All right. This is not the mark. This is not the same word for mark of the beast. Let's not get this twisted. It doesn't have the same meaning. All right. And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. You see? These are going to be those men that are sighing and crying unto the Lord because of the things that are happening on the earth, man. Because of the sufferings we're having to endure because of this world. All right? Because, again, going back to that John 17, we are not of the world, man. Matter of fact, let's bring it back up. Because that was a beautiful thing Yahushua said there. John chapter 17 and verse 15, it says, I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil. See, he's going back to that Psalms 55, that he suffer us not to be moved, right? Because he's keeping us from that evil. It's verse 16, they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Okay, you see? So we're not of this world, man. So, of course, the things that we see happening in this world, all right, in this society, it is grievous unto us, man. It's a burden. And we have to suffer it, though, because it's a part of it. This is a part of the trials, the fiery furnace. This is what this is all about, man. Okay. Let me see if I get... Maybe it's not in season anymore. I had it written down. Let me see what it says. Yeah, let me just bring this out. Matter of fact, actually, let me bring out Matthew's chapter 11 real quick. Because, we go through this walk, and there's a precept that I believe the apostle brought out in the video, Apostle Gabar, in that video that I showed, the long suffering, where we have to walk in the footsteps. Let me find it. It's in 1 Peter's. Walk in his steps. It's in 1 Peter. Let me just bring it up because the apostle brought it out. 1 Peter chapter 2:21, and then we'll come back to this. All right, because we also got to remember that who we're following. Let's get this. This is 1 Peter's chapter 2. Was it 1 Peter's? Yep. 1 Peter's chapter 2, and I'm just gonna get to the point. The apostle read a little bit above, but let me get to the point at verse 21. It says, "For even hereunto were we called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that we should follow his steps." You see, so Yahushua came on the earth in the flesh and dealt with the burdens and the sufferings of this world, man. But why did he do that? For us, first and foremost, to redeem us, okay, and to redeem, to pay for his sins as well, but also, like it says here, leaving us an example that we should follow in his steps, man. Okay, this is why it's important for us to push in this truth, man, and read the scriptures, because as we read the scriptures, we see that Yahushua went through this. Okay, this prophet went through that. Okay, so I know I can deal with this. I know I can burden, or Salah, I know I can push through. Okay, so now let's get this, because if Yahushua left us an example, his life and the things that he had to go through as an example, and for us to walk in him, let's see what he said about his journey. This is Matthew 11 and 29. It says, "Take my yoke upon you." All right, so, well, let's read verse 28. It says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden." Let's get those words there. Heavy laden. All right, Matthew 11 and 28. "Come ye unto me all that labor. And who are those? Who's out here laboring, man? Starting first and foremost with the apostles, Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, all right, Apostle Racha, Apostle Ariamlab, all right. Those men are laboring, man. And then on down with the elders, man, and you brothers that are sincerely serving the Lord, man. It said, Yahushua said, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden." Let's get that word there for heavy laden. All right, fortezo, if I'm pronouncing that correct, and it says to place a burden upon, to load one with a burden. You see? Ye come unto me, all ye that labor, all right, and that's clear and evident who's laboring for the Lord, and are heavy laden, so that have burdens on them, man. And I will give you rest. You see, and Yahushua is going to give us that rest. Okay, spiritually, he's given us that rest already because he's given us the Comforter, all right, which is these words. All right, 29. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me. Going back to that 1 Peter chapter 2. To walk in his footsteps, right? For I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. Because why? This walk that we should be in should be joyous. We should be happy going through the things that we have to endure in this life, man. Why? Because we know that we have a great reward in the end. This is, like we're going to see, this is not hard either. All right, verse 30. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And Yahushua, boy, hey, brothers know, everyone knows about the passion of Yahushua, man. Everybody knows about that. All right. Even regular niggas out on the street know about the things that Yahushua had to endure. If they don't know anything, they know that at least he was on the cross. And that's boy, I couldn't even imagine that. But what? The Lord said his yoke is easy and my burden is light. And what are we to do? Walk in his footsteps. So this journey of ours is not hard, man. It's easy. And the burden is light compared to the reward that we're going to receive, man. Okay. There was one more I wanted to get. Where was it? Man, I can't remember. Let me see this one. I think yep, kind of Romans. All right, yep. This is Romans chapter 5 and verse 3. It says, and not only so, but we glory in tribulations, also knowing that tribulation worketh patience. All right, you see? So we go through these tribulations and we glory in it. Why do we glory? Because we know that it's working our patience, because we're constantly enduring and we're just staying in the spirit. All right, and it says, and patience experience, and experience hope. And hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of the Father is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Spirit, which is given unto us. You see? So this is a good example of why we are to be joyous in our times of tribulation, in our times of suffering, because it's working all these things, man. And let me close out on this one. This is Isaiah chapter 35 and verse 10. It says, and the ransom of the Lord shall return and come to Zion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. You see, and this is the reward that we're seeking. This is why we're constantly enduring the suffering that we have to suffer now, because all that's going to be taken away, and we're going to have an everlasting joy. You know, so why not be glory in the tribulations now? Why not be happy in the sufferings that we have to endure now? Because we know what's going to come of it, right? We just read it. So, you know, with that, I just want to go ahead and give all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone. Much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out his truth and sincerity. Shalom to the Akwathium, the sisters who are learning in quietness and meekness as well. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Shalom.